Hi, everyone. My name is Edidiong Eton. I am a banker. I work in a financial institution. I am a lover of bodybuilding, and I'm so excited to be on Just for Women Africa.
Tell us how you got into bodybuilding.
It was a very interesting journey, to be honest, because I realized that I was very into being active. I didn't play a particular sport, but I realized that I love to be active. I love to run. I love to climb. I love to jump. And so I was looking for something that gave me all of that. And I could feel that feeling of strength because I never really felt strong. So I got into bodybuilding. I just searched on YouTube, looking at a couple of things and looking at some women and seeing what they were doing. And I thought, okay, this is cool. I'll try this out. I'll try this out on a smaller scale. I actually started with workouts at home. I used to work out in my parents' garage during COVID. During that time when you first start doing fitness, you're a bit shy. You don't want anybody to know. So you just you buy your small resistance band and then you go to the garage and then you do your home workouts. And I started there and I realized that it was during the lockdown period, the only thing that kept me sane. I would look forward to the time where in the evening, maybe everybody is gone inside or nobody's calling me and I'll go and I have that space to myself to work out and do things. And it's very exciting because I realized that I was getting better at it and I felt good every time I finished doing it, even though it felt difficult in the first place. And so I just thought, okay, where else can I take this? How far can I go? How much more can I do? What am I capable of? And then I inched a little bit from there and I'm old enough to register for a gym, which at first was really scary to me because I got in there and everybody looked like they knew what they were doing. So I just picked up a few dumbbells. I went to my small corner and just doing my own thing. And then little by little, what really helped is that I started to see a little bit of representation again on social media, on YouTube especially. I started seeing other women that started doing these things. I would watch them on a daily basis and say, okay, if they can do that, I can do that as well. And then so the smaller dumbbells turned into me moving, trying to go towards the machines. I didn't ask anybody. I'll just have my phone. I'll open my YouTube, how to use leg press. And I'll look at the pictures and I'll look at the machine and I'll try to figure out which machine was which. It was this really interesting journey. And then I started to use that. So it really just came from this point of this is something that is mine. This is something that I can do. And this is something that makes me feel stronger. And I just kept going from there.
As a young girl in bodybuilding, what challenges have you faced so far?
There's a lot of sexual harassment in bodybuilding. I'm so sorry to say, but it's true. It's true. You could decide not to add it to the interview, but it's true. And there were some things that I faced, which is why I started using more of YouTube. My bodybuilding journey has been very, very solo. Because when you're young and when you're naive and when you're little, you allow people to step into your space. Like I mentioned about fixing challenges with men and all that. There were the good ones and there were the bad ones. I had a coach that had an inappropriate way of touching me during the workouts. And I knew that that was inappropriate, but I didn't understand that this was not part of the workout. It was later on that I watched the YouTube video and I said, okay, no, his hand was supposed to be there. And it happened a couple of times. It happened with a couple of different coaches in different ways. There was a coach, and I'm being honest here. There was a coach that would make fun of me during the workout. I would make quote unquote sex sounds while I was doing some certain workouts. And that really scarred me. And from that day, like if I need to squat the heaviest thing in my life, I will look for a woman, a very strong woman to help me, or I will risk just doing it myself and getting injured because I don't want that kind of thing to happen again. And it happened to a friend of mine as well. But in that way, because we're together, I was able to confront him and tell him that's not right. You're not supposed to do that. So this is some of the challenges that I face. And that's just what made me switch from looking for a coach to going solo. And unfortunately, and I'm happy you asked this question because it still happens in the bodybuilding industry. It happens in the fitness industry, or there are coaches that take advantage of either young women or older women who don't know any better. And I think that's why a lot of women need to get into bodybuilding and need to get into coaching so that we can keep women safe. from things like that.
How do you handle pressure or expectations, especially as a young girl in a male-dominated sport?
It is not uh it's not easy because the first thing that gets to you when it comes to fitness, to be honest, body aside, it really is the mind. When I started, I would shy away from the weight. It was full of men. Only men were in the weight room. Like, women were in the aerobics and the Pilates and doing things with the mats and other things. So it felt very unnatural to me to be in that space. But I think one thing that encouraged me is there's this saying, I cannot remember the lady that said it, but she said, if God didn't want women to have muscles, he wouldn't have given us the ability to have them in the first place. So you could do, I wish I could give credit to her, but I can't remember who she is, but I know that I saw it somewhere. And it just really gave me this confidence, like, okay, if I have the ability to do this, why am I not in that space? And to be honest, I had a good experience with some men in the fitness space, because there were times where I would be struggling with something, and a nice man would come over. Most times they're their age, their dads. They'll come over like, "Are you having problems with that? Try to extend this way. Try to." So I actually found a bit of comfort, because whilst obviously there was the negative aspects of things, which I don't know, maybe some of the other questions will cover them, but the positive parts, they were always very communal. You would have men shouting, "Let's go, let's do this," while you're going for or your personal best record, while you're lifting the heaviest you ever lifted before. You have people rush to your aid when you're failing. And so I stopped seeing it as a women are not allowed in this place, and the door is open. Come in. We will welcome you in here, and we can do this together. And obviously, as I started to do more bodybuilding and met more women that were doing, I met such amazing women in the field, and we all come together, whether it's on social media, whether it's physically. Sometimes you don't plan to work out with somebody, but you just start doing something and you see that she's next to you, and then you just couple up and be like, okay, let's do legs today. And so it's community with women, and also actually community with men, because there were, like I said, there were men that were willing to help, to come to your aid, and to cheer you on while you're doing what it is that you're doing. So I just got out of my head, really, and I stopped thinking you're not allowed here. You are. Like, I'm saying that in the third. Is it the third person? Is it the first person? I was speaking to myself at that point. You are welcome here. No one is chasing you away. Although there were people that did want to seem like, okay, no, why are you here? Or they'll make passing comments like, me, I like my women like this. Me, I like my women like that. All those kinds of things. You just, well, me, I'm not your woman. So however you like your woman, it concerns you. The one that likes me like this likes me like this. But I was really just,
What's your favorite type of workout and why?
I love lower body workouts. My favorite workout right now, somebody will shout when they hear this, but Bulgarian split squats. Everybody hates Bulgarian split squats, but I love Bulgarian split squats because I think it's a lovely movement that it's very, what's the word? It's very all encompassing. You can use it to target your glutes. For those that don't know what the glutes are, in common terms, your own bum, it covers your bum, the gluteus maximus, and the minimus as well. And then you can also use it to work on your quads. And if done in a certain way, you can also use it to work on your hamstrings. So in that movement, you have something that targets your entire leg. And also because it's very challenging, it's a unilateral movement. So in that movement, you have one leg forward and another leg in a lunge position elevated behind you. It allows you to do so many things. You're training your muscles to work independently because, again, it's a unilateral movement. You do one leg before the other. And then also, it's actually so difficult. You need your balance to be right. You need your core strength to be on point. You need to have strength in your arms to hold up the weights. So it's just, it's like the big boss for me. And whether I'm able to do it heavier or whether I'm able to do it properly and finish my set and I'm tired, I'm like, yes, I have done a good leg workout today.
How do people around you react to your bodybuilding journey?
In the beginning, they were all very weirded out about it because I had uncles, I had family members tell me, where are you growing muscle to? Which one will your husband have? And it was a bit discouraging at first because you really want, your family and your friends to be encouraging towards your journey. I had a friend, but we're no longer friends, but I had a friend that told me, oh, don't get muscles, they're ugly. They'll make you look ugly. And she was constant about it. And which is why we're no longer friends, because if you're not willing to in any way at least try and understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, I didn't see the need to have her in my circle in the first place because she was relentless. Every time I post a picture, every time I go to the gym, "Ah, this one you're doing, this one you're, and it became really negative. So I decided to let go of that. That's neither here nor there. But in the beginning, they didn't understand it, right? And I tried not to blame them because it's not common. Back home in Uyo, it's even more uncommon because the women there, most taken to a good extent, are very traditional back home where I live with my parents. That's not in Lagos. Lagos, it's a bit more modern and people understand a bit more of the nuances of fitness and stuff like that. So it's very difficult to explain things to them. But you know what? One day, my dad came home. He went out to work. He came home with a big bag full of avocados. I'm like, well, Daddy, why do you have so many avocados? Say it's for you now. Sure, you're doing fitness. Take, I bought all these avocados for you. Your parents will always tell you, I understand what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. But in their little way, they'll start doing things like that. They started to buy me more eggs. They started to, get me more protein. When we went out to eat, they'll say, will you eat this one? Is the protein content enough? Little by little. And it was just in the evening, my dad would be going to church for a midweek service. I would say, do you need a ride to the gym? So, and then it really made me happy because they never came out and said, we love and see what you're doing, but they supported me.
Do you think bodybuilding has given you more confidence as a young woman?
It definitely has. During a period of my life, I suffered a lot from body dysmorphia. If anyone doesn't know what body dysmorphia is, it's the state of mind where you look at your body as less than it is. It's never enough. It's never beautiful enough. It's never curvy enough. It's never straight enough. It's hairy or not hairy enough. There's always this conflict. I might not be giving the clinical definition, but there's this conflict between your mind and what you're seeing, and you're always at war with yourself. You never see yourself as the image that you're perceived as. And I struggle with a lot of that. A lot of women struggle with that again with social media, uh, with the high rate of prosthetics, plastic surgery, beauty industry, celebrity culture. There's so much that's being thrown at women. And at the point you look at your body and you look at the body of the lady on the internet and you say, why is this different? Why is this trending? Why is that not trending? I'll give you an experience that really locked this body dysmorphia in for me. So I have hip dips. A hip dip is when you have a bit of a dip in your bone structure that is around your hips. There are people that have rounded out hips, and there are people that have squared out hips. There are people that have that little dent in their hips, and it's all natural. It's part of your body, right? And then while I was, because again, I started out in my parents' garage, I saw a YouTube video, and it said the title of it was "Exercises to Do to Get Rid of Hip Dips," and that was my first encounter with seeing a hip dip, a structure that I had, as a bad thing. And I started Googling it. What is wrong with having hip dips? Why is it bad? Why are we getting rid of it? It's like saying how to get rid of dimples. Some people have dimples. Or how to get rid of, I don't even know what else to say. How to get rid of a sharp jawline or how to get rid of a flat nose. That is the way that your body is, right? And there is nothing wrong with that. So at a point, I started to look at it as a problem and I was following this workhouse judiciously. But at a point, I said, what even is the problem with this hip dip thing? Who said it's a bad thing? And why is that person's opinion more important than mine? So while working out, while building my body and realizing my strength, my ability to grow, because my body has changed so much between when I started and now, growing into a stronger person, I'm more toned, I have more muscle. And I just really realized that confidence comes from me. It comes from the strength that I have. It comes from the muscle that I've been able to gain. It comes from the tone that I've gotten. And I just rid myself of those ideas that there is this ideal way that a woman is supposed to look. Because what happens in bodybuilding is that you literally build the body that you want. It's like playing house. You build the body that you want. You can look like whatever you want and whatever gives you strength, whatever gives you beauty in your own way. So definitely, if my confidence was here before I started bodybuilding, it's all the way up to the top now.
What does your diet look like on a normal day?
Well, first of all, it consists of a lot of protein. a lot of protein. So let's just run through a typical day. Let's run through a Monday, for instance. So for breakfast, I would have oats with protein powder and Greek yogurt and 2 bananas for breakfast. Started that with 4 eggs. They can either be fried or boiled. I prefer them boiled. I prefer the cheese to boiled eggs, and that's for breakfast. For lunch, we would have grilled chicken breasts and potatoes with broccoli and carrots. Again, we're looking at a substantial amount of protein in each meal. But in the morning, I have the most protein because I make my oats with protein powder. So with a whole scoop of protein powder, and I think that translates to about 225 grams of protein. And then the 3 eggs also boils down to about 16 or 20 grams of protein. Then we have a chicken breast, which is about 10 grams of protein alongside carrots and broccoli. And then for dinner, I have things a bit lighter because I don't want to be bloated as much as I'm going to be gaining weight. So what I do is I would usually, if I don't make it myself, I actually buy suya. And before anybody comes for me, suya, in the way that it's made, you can actually ask the person that's making the suya to reduce the amount of oil that they put onto the meat. And then, there's tuzu. If you're familiar with eating suya, there's tuzu, there's isham, there's beef, there's gizzard. So you select the leanest portion of that, which is the actual beef, which is the meat that doesn't have any fat in it. Again, if you're focusing on clean bulking, so you're eating clean to gain muscle. So you focus on the meat. I'll have like 4 or 5 sticks of suya, and alongside that, I'd have some lettuce. I'd also have some pineapple. Pineapple and meat goes very well together. Don't knock it till you try it. So I'd have about 4 sticks of suya, which would be about at that point 20 grams again of protein, and then I would have it with a side of lettuce, and I have it with some pineapples and another protein powder smoothie. So that's protein powder, oats again, bananas, and then maybe I put some honey and some vanilla in there. So in a day, I'm consuming between 100 to maybe 140 grams, 140 grams on a good day, 100 grams on a regular day of protein. Because the deal is to have at least a gram of protein per pound of your body weight. I'm currently 100 and I don't know my body weight at the moment. I can't believe I don't know my body weight. Well, I think it was 75 kg. I don't know what that is in pounds, but that's the ideal. I don't measure my meals on a day-to-day basis, but because I've been doing it so long, I can kind of say where my head is at and say, okay, this is probably the amount of protein that I'm having a day. I also take some supplements. I started taking creatine 2 years ago, and I've been taking creatine consistently. Creatine is not a hard drug, because I know people think creatine is a hard drug. It's not a steroid. It is just something that helps you with your muscle mass. So protein powder, lots of protein, creatine, and also lots and lots and lots of water, because your body needs water as well.
If you could give one piece of advice to young girls watching this who want to start, what would it be?
Start with what you have. Don't wait for your friends to join you. Don't wait to get a coach. Don't wait till you have all the cutest gym sets, you have all the gym wear. With the only pair of leggings that you have, with your t-shirt, with the small room, just start, because your mind gets in the way first. You don't need to do the biggest thing. You need to start and believe that you deserve more. You deserve more strength. You deserve more courage. You deserve more confidence. And you can have a body that you're satisfied with and that you're happy with and that you validate yourself from the inside.